Hey, this is Shane Fitch from Radford Community Church. Just looking forward to spending some time with you this morning. When I was a kid, I remember this one time I went to this hotel with my family, and I was with my brother Scott, and we decided that we would try the game of racquetball. Well, I don't know if you've ever played racquetball, but you're kind of in this box of a room, and the ball's really bouncy and it's really fast and quick. And so we rented the rackets and we rented the ball, and so they looked at us and they're like, "Do you want to rent goggles as well?" And we're like, "We're pretty cheap," so we decided, "No, we don't need goggles." And so we get into the racquetball court, and the first serves, Scott serves the ball, and I hit it back, and then Scott goes back with his racket, hits me right in the face, right above the eye, and cuts me right above the eye. And it started to bleed, and I had to go to the hospital, and there was like a water park at this hotel, and so I couldn't go in the water park anymore. And so of course I get to the hospital, and the doctor's name is Dr. Payne. And I know that seems weird, but that's really true. But it was really scary because it was right close to the eyes. And it's amazing how significant it is to protect our eyes. We should have gotten protective goggles, because when you lose your eyesight, man, it's such a big deal. And the Bible talks a lot about our eyes as well, and how important our eyes are and what our eyes are fixed on. And today I want to just quickly share with you that what we see with our eyes is super important. What we actually take in, what we visualize, is really important. Let me read a portion of scripture to you. In Luke chapter 11, verse 34, it says, "The eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are good, your whole body is also full of light. But when they're bad, your body is full of darkness." And so I believe that what Luke's trying to say to us is that what we're looking at is good. What we're focusing on with our eyes are good. In this season of life, our eyes are focused in on technology. Our eyes are focused in on social media. Our eyes are focused in on television, on cable, and we have to isolate ourselves from one another because of this virus. And so there's so much more that we're watching through media and digital connection. And so I really want us to be able to caution and realize that what we watch affects what goes into our heart and in our soul. And that so often we can forget that what we watch with our eyes affects us. So I don't know what you're watching these days. I don't know what you're consuming these days, but like if you're consuming the news and consuming updates about the virus, that can get pretty overwhelming. That if you're constantly taking in information about a virus, taking in information about what's going on and who's getting infected and how many this day, and that I understand wanting to be informed, but sometimes it can go too far. Sometimes we can consume so much with what we see that it begins to affect the way we think and the way we feel. And so Luke is trying to tell us that if our eyes are good, then the rest of us will also be good. So as we consume information and the things that we watch, we have to be careful, because if we focus on the wrong thing, it can actually affect how we think and feel. Proverbs tells us that a discerning man keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. So we have to be careful we don't have wandering eyes. We're looking and trying to consume all of this media and all of this news about the virus, and some of us are watching movies that are talking about the end of the world. We just have to be careful that what we watch with our eyes isn't overwhelming us. And maybe sometimes it might be worth taking a break from reading all the news about the virus. It might be worth taking a break from social media and consuming what everyone has to say about social distancing and isolation. Maybe you switch the channel and you watch something that's positive, something good. My family and I, we just took a moment, we just watched some worship videos on YouTube the other night, and how refreshing that was, how it lifted our soul, lifted our hearts, so that we could focus in on something else other than a virus, other than a pandemic, and realize that God is there and people are around us, and that there are reasons to be hopeful. But that all comes down to what we're watching and what we're focusing on. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18, so we fix our eyes not in what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. God is eternal. Ecclesiastes says that there's a season for everything. And church, I want you to know, people, I want you to know that this is just a season, and it will pass. But if we focus in on so much darkness and so much negativity, if that's all we look at, then we're going to feel miserable all day long. If we focus in on God and His goodness, we focus in on good things, we watch good things, and what you watch on television, what you watch on social media, look for the good, look for positivity, look for opportunities to hear of great stories and hear of pastors speaking and of family members sharing. Let's fill our souls through our eyes with life and light, and not darkness and despair. I challenge you, let's keep our eyes focused on what is good.